I met Mia about over a year ago in New Orleans when I was there for a few months. And the first thing I remember was just feeling really awestruck by the energy of leadership that you exude when in whatever room you walk into. So I just wanted to start the interview with that and to say that when you asked me to do the top surgery fund to help you lead that, it just felt right. Not even like the right thing to do, but it just felt right. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to kick this off. And we're going to be raising funds, not just for the surgery itself, but also any additional hospital fees, administrative fees that the building that you're going to be doing it in might have, as well as travel fees, since it's more than likely you'll be going out of state, as well as extra fees for healing time, because the surgery may take 3 weeks to heal, but in some cases the swelling doesn't go down for a few months. So we just want to have a little bit of extra breathing room. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm excited for people to get to know you a little. So the first question is just going to be to let us know who you are. So that would mean, who are you? What labels do you identify with? What pronouns do you identify with? Where were you born? Where do you live? Do you have any pets? Who are they?
Okay, well, my name's Mia. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, born and raised. My pronouns as of right now are her, but I really don't have a problem with he either. I'm thinking I might be both. I have a dog. He's my best friend. His name's Don Vito.
That's my best friend. Go best friend.
I have a cat. Her name is Mama. And I'm just on this journey to become who I truly am.
Amazing. I thought you were allergic to cats, so I love that you have a cat.
I am technically allergic to cats. I don't know if that is one of those things that goes away after time, but when I first got her, the first couple of weeks, I had to just eat Benadryl.
How long has John been with you?
2 years. He's 2 years old, and I've had him since he was 8 weeks old.
What is the COVID situation over there in New Orleans like?
Everything's closed, but things are still open, but they close at 2 a.m., but people aren't listening, so it's stricter, and everybody here is pretty much being stupid with it, so we have to suffer. So, yeah.
Do you still feel like there are a lot of tourists coming in? Or?
Yeah, tourists are coming. It's crazy.
Gosh. Okay, so what about, you said you're good with both pronouns. How about they, them?
That I'm not against, but that doesn't fit me as much as he, she.
Do you want to elaborate why, or it's just cuz?
If I hear he, I'm okay with that. If I hear she, I'm okay with that. But then they, it just doesn't feel like me.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your family and your relationships with them.
Grew up Catholic. My family, they all know that I am, gay or whatever whatever's going on. And, but the whole top surgery thing, the only one that's on board is my mom. And it took her a long time to get on board, but I've been talking about it so long with her. So at this point, she's like, if that makes my baby happy, then that's what my baby's going to get. That type of thing. So my mom's on board. The rest of my family is not. I have certain aunts that are definitely homophobic, transphobic. So they've literally begged me to not do it. But I just cancel them out because I have my mom's support, and that does a lot. That helps a lot.
So when you say they've begged you to not do it, so you've brought it up to them, or they just have said it out of fear?
My family is very much, my child just said this. Great. I'm about to call all my sisters and all my brothers and tell them that. So that's what happened. My mom was like, yeah, Mia's talking about cutting her tits off. Da 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 da. So then my other aunts call me and are like, oh God, please don't do that. Why would you do that? I literally had one of my aunts say, please don't do that for me. Don't do that for me. And I was like, I can't live for you, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Did you say that to her?
Yes, that's exactly what I said.
So that kind of brings us to, I think one of the reasons why you did ask me to help you with this was because you have a lot of family and they would be seeing your social media activity. It's better if this is not done through your socials, done through somebody else, so that they don't have to get involved. You don't have to deal with all that headache.
Exactly.
So the next question, just give me a sec, is what was it like growing up in New Orleans?
Fun. Very, very carefree. I had a good childhood. I didn't have a bad childhood. I had traumas just like everybody else, but that's just life. I look at it as that's just life, because I was very lucky growing up, and I had a very loving mom, and so my childhood, my growing up was okay.
How would you describe New Orleans, living there?
Mixed, all kinds of people, nice. Everyone here is nice. I grew up, it is considered rude to walk down the street and see someone and not acknowledge them. That's considered rude. Like, why would you just walk down the street and see this random person and not at least do, So I had, because, I stayed in New York for a little while, so I had to learn, like, people in New York, they think you're trying to rob them if you do that. So... But great food, very family oriented, very friend oriented, gathering. It's party city, but also not just party city. It's a very loving place. Like, it's very lovey down here.
So you're happy living?
Yeah, I love New Orleans. I mean, eventually I'm gonna move, but I've been here literally my entire life. I've lived one or two other places for a year or so, but I've been here overall my whole life.
And how old are you now?
27.
So, what was it like growing up biracial in New Orleans, in the South, and how do you think race affects your day-to-day life now?
The first thing that pops up in my head when you said that is growing up biracial, it was, I got shit from the black kids and I got shit from the white kids. But once high school hits, that was more of an elementary, middle school thing. Once high school hit and kids became a little more mature, that died down.
Do you still feel like being biracial affects your day-to-day life, or not as much?
Rarely. In my personal, what goes on with me, rarely. It happens, but rarely.
When did you realize you were gay or whatever it is? And take us on that journey. What did that discovery look like?
Okay, so I grew up Catholic. I grew up in a black Catholic family. Gay people weren't a thing. I didn't know that was a thing. I remember the first ever dyke that I met and knew. It was my friend's sister. She was maybe 18 when I was like 8, something like that. And I just remember when I saw her, I was like, that's what I was like, people can do that. Like, she's a girl, but she's wearing boy clothes and spraying cologne. And I was like, you can do that. But it never was, hey mom, I'm a boy, or hey mom, I'm gay. But I think the reason that was because I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about it. I wasn't around it. There was nobody in my circle that was a gay person, a lesbian person, anything. Once I got a little older, 10th grade-ish, 9th grade-ish, I remember people could start like kind of telling, because I didn't want to do certain things. I didn't want to wear certain things. And people would ask me, Mia, are you bisexual? And I would freak out. I would my stomach would drop. And I'd be like, no, not at all. No, why would you ask me that? I would freak out. And then I had late experience. I feel like I didn't hook up with my first girl until I was 19 years old. I didn't fully come out. I came out when I was 18. It might have even been 19. And then even then, I still wasn't being my dyke self until I was about 21. I was still because I had my mom. My mom is very supportive. She's not an evil, homophobic, hateful mom, but she was ignorant. So my mom was like, she would tell me stuff like, okay, if you want to wear boy clothes, then why can't you wear a boy shirt and wear girl jeans? So I'd like try to do stuff like that. And then I just looked stupid because like, you know, it didn't match me, you know? And that 19 through 21, that was a really hard time for me because the clothes really was the big thing for me. The clothes was the big thing for me. I don't want to wear that tank top. I don't want to wear those low-waisted jeans. I damn sure don't want to wear that dress. You know? 21, I met another girl who was a dyke, very comfortable in herself, and I just fell in love with her. I was like, bitch, you are doing it, and I want that. And then I did it. Like the next day, I was like, fuck all these girl clothes. Give me my clothes that I want.
That must have been a shock to your mom.
Yeah, and she still hates the way I dress, but I think I try to be open minded with it because she really is very supportive, and I understand that this is hard for her. But I don't even think it's the boy clothes. I think she just, my specific style, I don't think she likes. I think even if I was born male, she still wouldn't like it. So that's why I try to like not give her shit. Because she really is like, now she's like, okay, that's what you want to wear. All right. Okay. You know.
So that's very patient of you. Do you feel like you were always this patient in these kinds of situations? No. Okay, so what allowed you to become more patient?
My mom actually showing me that she's with me and on board and understands me. Like when I was 19, 20 and all that, I was very, fuck you, this is what I'm wearing, shut the fuck up, get over it. If you don't like it, that's on you. This is me, you know? And now it's like, mother, I understand this is hard for you. It's hard for me as well. I need you to work with me though, and I'll work with you too.
What do you feel has changed in your life since you have stepped into yourself?
I'm happier. I'm way more comfortable. I enjoy getting dressed. When I was in high school, I didn't enjoy getting dressed. Like I didn't want to go out because going out meant my friends putting me into a skin tight dress and putting me in heels. And I didn't want that. I wanted to wear jeans and tennis shoes, you know? But girls didn't wear that. Girls didn't go to the club in jeans and tennis shoes, you know? So I had to put on the dress and the heels. And now I love getting dressed. I'm like, ooh, what jeans I'm gonna put on, you know? Like, ooh, I like this shirt, you know? That's a big thing. I used to hate getting dressed, and now I love it.
That's such an interesting point. Why do you think getting dressed is so important for one's sense of self, one's identity, for queer people?
Because clothes have a lot to do with a person. Clothes is how you express yourself. Clothes is how you feel, is one of the ways you feel good about yourself, you know, your body specifically, you know? So nobody wants to walk around in something that they're just like
constricted.
Yeah, it was very uncomfortable. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to stand up. I wanted to sit down. Like, I don't want to sit. If I stand up, everybody's going to see me in this dress, you know? So I'm just going to sit down and just kind of like sit like this. And now I'm like.
So what is it like now living in New Orleans as a queer Black person?
I am surrounded with a lot of queers, a lot of open-minded, you know, people. Even if they are straight, they're understanding and open-minded and respect everything and go and they accept what you say. But my challenge, mainly, the first thing I think of when you ask that is the kids that I grew up with, my high school friends that are still my friends to this day. Because, for example, I like to get my nails and my toes painted, okay? You know, in society's world, girls do that. That's female. Mia, you're a dyke. So in their eyes, dyke equals nothing girl. You don't want anything girl. Like they those are the type of people that say, so you're the boy in the relationship, right? You know? So that's my biggest challenge. Like those people who knew me as the straight girl in high school, they're like, oh yeah, Nia the dyke. But then they see me maybe dance a feminine way or wear nail polish or want to go get my feet done or wear my hair because I have locks. Sometimes I'll put it in a feminine looking bun and they're like, I thought you were gay. What is that? And it's like, I am gay. This doesn't mean I don't no longer like having sex with women. It's this is completely like two different things, gender and sexuality. And, so I would say that's my biggest challenge. It's trying to explain because they're, like I said, they're not hateful or anything. They're just ignorant.
That's a really important distinction. And it's just navigating a lot of assumptions that people are making about you constantly. Right. And I think it's largely because of people's own understanding of gender and sexuality and how they view themselves in that, and that constant self-policing of, am I being too girly, am I being man enough, et cetera, and it just gets thrown onto everyone.
Right. And for me, I just go with it. And I think that's where my whole he-she thing comes from. Because, okay, men or dykes don't necessarily do that, but I want to do that. I like that. So I'm going to do it. That doesn't mean I'm lying about who I am.
So when did you realize you want top surgery? And have you ever felt any body dysmorphia? If yes, what did that feel like? If no, what motivates you?
Okay, I have a question for you. I'm not really sure if I know fully what body dysmorphia means. If you could explain that to me.
Yeah, so it's basically you feel uncomfortable. It's when someone feels uncomfortable in the body that they have. It doesn't necessarily have to relate to parts that are generally associated with a specific gender, but that it can be augmented with that, and people can feel gender dysphoria. But body dysmorphia can just happen in general if you just feel any discomfort with the body that you have, and you're looking at yourself and it just feels alien to you, or you're feeling out of body, or you want it to change, etc.
It's been about 4 years since I've wanted my top surgery. Before that, it was still always in the back of my head, but it was more of I can never do that. That's never going to happen. No, we're just going to leave it like this. No, that's too much. We can't do that. And then about 2 years ago was when it was like, yes, for sure. Gotta do it. Let's get on it. How do I do this? Now that you've explained body dysmorphia to me, it kind of makes me feel like I do have body dysmorphia. I hate my boobs. I also am not the biggest fan. I have a very womanly figure. I have a curved in waist and my hips go out. I hate it.
Okay, so what caused that? What made you realize 4 years ago, like, okay, maybe yes, and then what 2 years ago was like, for sure yes?
Okay, well, when I would get dressed and stuff, button ups and stuff like that, it's always like popping right here, and I'm like, oh, if I didn't have these damn things on my chest, my clothes would fit me so much better. But then it was just, I think it was just fear. Cause like, that's a big thing, So it was just, and also it probably was my mom. My mom she wasn't like, no, don't do it. But she was, are you sure that's what you want? You need to think about this for 6+ months before you are sure that that's what you want. So that I was like, okay, I'll just shut up about it for 6 more months, and then I'll bring it up again in 6 months. That's how I happened. And then after, like I said, about 2 years ago, really probably 3, I was like, nope, this is it. This is what I want. Please, God, somebody help me.
And here we are. Everyone's gonna help.
Right.
When you envision yourself post-surgery, what do you see?
Me and at the pool in trunks and nothing else. That's the first thing. That's the first thing I think of, and I honestly, that's the first thing I think of. The second thing I think of is me button up a shirt. Oh, running outside without a bra isn't a thing for me. When I have to hurry up and throw a shirt on, I find myself getting pissed about it. because I have to also put a bra on first. And I'm like, see, if I didn't have these goddamn boobs, I could just go as is right now.
So what I'm even hearing is it isn't about necessarily appearance or how other people see you. It's really even more for yourself. It's about your sense of comfort with yourself and how you feel when you're doing things.
It's all for me. It's all for me. Like, the only thing I could think of that involves another person is when my girlfriend lays on my chest. I be having to like move my boob because it hurts, you know, and I kind of get annoyed with that, but it's all me. It's pretty much all me.
And even that, it's still for you. It's like that feeling of having your loved one be able to sleep on your chest while you're comfortable and free.
Right.
Do you think having this surgery will affect any of your relationships? And do you have any fears going into this whole process and before the surgery?
I've talked to my girlfriend. She's 100% down and supportive and all that. My mom is supportive. My dad's supportive. I'm gonna have issues with my other with some of my aunts. Some of my ignorant cousins are just gonna be like, what? But they're not gonna be like, I can't believe you did that. It's not gonna be anything like that. Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I think my biggest fear is going out to the bars in New Orleans and being around my peers that I was around in high school. Because I know how ignorant they are when it comes to this stuff. And I know, and they know it's a thing, but they don't know anybody like that that's done that. You know, they don't know anybody that's done that. So I'm going to get eyes. I'm going to get questions. I'm going to get, so are you a boy now? Are you gay? And I've been preparing myself for all that.
How do you prepare yourself for that?
Okay, maybe I haven't been preparing myself.
Just like the thought of knowing it's going to happen.
Right, that's about it. That's all I can do. Now, maybe if one of my aunts says something, maybe that'll hit a little harder and be a little more harder to deal with. But even then, I would just, goodbye. I've been dealing with this y'all not approving or understanding what I'm doing and what I am anyway. So one more step of it won't be that much harder.
Do you have any other fears going into the surgery? Not about other people's perceptions, but just about the process, this whole process that we're going through, and then also doing the surgery. Do you have any other fears?
None. You're just ready.
I'm ready. The boobs, they're a lot for me. It's hard for me to have them.
They need to go.
They need to go. Yes. I hate how they touch my arm, because, you know, like I said, I'm big breasted. They touch my arm like when I do stuff like this. I just hate them. Everything about them. When I see trans men, I don't want to assume trans men or people with top surgery that have had top surgery at the pool, I have to stop myself from staring, because I'd be so like, I want that. That's the only thing I can think of. So I just watch them the whole time. But then I have to stop because I don't want them to think I'm weird, you know. But I'm just like, God, I want that. They're so lucky. Look at them with only one piece of clothing on. Like that, they're so lucky. It's everything for me. It's just everything for me.
With all that being said, what has stopped you from getting this surgery up until this point?
Up until this point, fear and money. Now it's just money.
That's why we're here, and we're going to change that. So I'm glad that people get to know you a little as we launch this, and we're going to just keep in touch.